I think the recording started. Apologies for just drinking. Hello, welcome to this Unity tutorial with some Pokemon. So Unity and coding and Pokemon involved, working together. I hope you're happy and safe, and I hope this tutorial will be useful. So let's go and have a look at Mew. Hi Mew. Isn't that gorgeous? And then there's Mew. There you are, Mew. You're up on here as well. And why are we looking at it? This tutorial wasn't my idea. This was too good an idea. So Jennifer Robey, or Robbie, about 6 days ago now, not 5 days ago, says, could you make a tutorial on making a flight controller that acts like Mew from Pokemon, like you, like psychic flight and levitation. So that's what we're after. At the moment, we've got walking and jumping, but we want to evolve that into psychic flight and levitation. Levitation is unlimited at a few feet from the level's ground. So where our friend Mew over here is currently levitating, bobbing up and down, he can do that forever. It's unlimited. It won't take up any psychic energy. Isn't that right, Mew? Yeah, not a big speaker. I don't know from the show. Does Mew talk? Do any Pokemon talk? I can't remember. I'm not a Pokemon expert, as you can tell. I did learn, though. I did my research. Apparently, Mew is like the genetic origin of all other Pokemon, which is excellent. So good choice, Jennifer, on which Pokemon to simulate. Anyway, so that's levitation, a few feet from the level's ground, but slowly sinks to that level if you're higher up and not actively flying. Okay, so if you go into fly mode and then you're not actually doing anything, then your character will like slowly gravitate to the ground. Gravitate to the few feet above the ground. And then flight uses up energy that limits it to a certain duration before needing rest. And Jennifer, excitingly, is developing this game or simulation or something like that. So please, in the comments to this video, Jennifer, leave any links to your project, and then we can all have a play and a test if you want us to. Obviously, if you don't want us to, don't leave a link, or if you move on to another project or something. Okay, so I'll show you my results so far, and then I'll show you how I got to this stage. Right, so if I press left shift, you can now see that I'm levitating. There we go. And I've gone a bit higher than a few feet, just for dramatic effect, so you can kind of clearly see that I'm off the ground now, and I'm kind of bobbing up and down, like our friend over here. I've got on the left-hand side of the screen my Y value, my measurement of like how high I am. So you can see that, it's kind of bobbing up and down. And then if I press left shift again, I'm now in fly mode. So now you'll see my psychic energy, which is currently 320, 19, 18, is going down. And if I press F, I can like fly higher. What would kind of make sense to me, Jennifer, and whoever else is watching, is if the higher you get, the more psychic energy it takes. But maybe that doesn't make sense. But maybe that's something that you want to do. I haven't done that, by the way. I'm just counting down my psychic energy at the same rate. I'm pressing C and I'm coming close to the floor. Now what also happens, and I'm going to have to restart the simulation, is when you hit 0 psychic energy and you're flying high, then it sinks us down, which is something similar to what you described about if you're not actively flying, then it just sinks you to the ground. So at the moment, I'm not actively flying, and it just maintains your height. So that's not quite what Jennifer's after. But there, my psychic energy goes to 0. It automatically then changes you back to levitation mode, and you just stay at a few feet from the ground or whatever. And then the psychic energy now is recharging. Okay, so how do I do this? How do we do this? Here's one method. I'm not going to start things from scratch, which is what I usually do in videos. This time I thought, let's work with pre-existing code, namely the standard assets that Unity provide, the first-person controller in particular, and then kind of like hack around with modify the pre-existing script for the first-person controller. And through that, you learn things and methods that you wouldn't have used. and also it's quicker. In some instances, not always. Sometimes you have to like stop things working and make things, hack around to get things going. Anyway, let me take you through that process now. So I've done it once, obviously myself, but not on camera. So let's go and see if this works. Right, so first thing you need to do is go and get the standard assets for Unity. And this was produced for 2018. They're not updating it anymore. If you have trouble getting hold of this, just go to the asset store. It's a website now. It's not like through the editor anymore. And then once you've downloaded it from here, I believe you can go to Unity's window menu, go down to package manager, and then you can incorporate it from there, or you could download it. I'll put a link to it, just like the ordinary zipped folder or something like that, or the package file. So in your assets folder, you can just right click, go to import custom package, and then the link. Yeah, oh, that's I didn't set this up. This is an accident. But Unity Standard Assets corrected Unity package, so I've got this. I've downloaded it myself. So you could download it via my link and then just open it like I've just done there. So there I've just right clicked, gone to import package, custom package, find where you've downloaded the package from my link or whatever link, and then click open, and then it will create this standard assets folder. Also, it will try to download, or it'll ask you whether all the components that you want to download, like scene textures and third-person controllers, vehicle controllers, all of that stuff, 2D stuff, you can uncheck all the stuff that you don't want so that it opens in your, or downloads to your assets a lot quicker. So that's what I did. I unchecked everything except for the first-person controllers. So let's create a new scene, and we'll call this, and we'll save this scene now. Save as, where am I? In assets, in my Mew tutorials folder, and I'll call that Jenny scene. To honor Jennifer Robey, or Robbie, who inspired this tutorial and this idea. Thank you very much again. So we're in Jenny scene. Now what do we need? We need some ground. So the quickest way to do that is to go to Game Object, 3D Object, Cube, and then just stretch them out on the X and the Z. So 100 units by 100 units. Let's just scroll out so we can see what's happening. There we go. And then we'll rename the cube Pokeworld. No, let's call it South America. In my research of Mew, apparently South America and India are canon in Pokemon, in the Pokemon universe. So this is now South America. Also, it's a bit grey, isn't it? So the camera directional light, again, to honour Jennifer, we'll call this Jennifer, and we'll make this a bit brighter, a bit more yellow, sorry, changing the hue, not the intensity or anything, I don't think. We've got a main character, a main camera, which we can, we won't need in a moment because we're going to drag in our character that's already kind of been made from a prefab. So let's go and do that. So in standard assets, I'm going to go to characters, first person character, prefabs. So I've got two here, first person controller with a rigid body and one without a rigid body. And let's drag in just a first person controller in here. There we go. And double click on them. Lovely. And rename them to me. This is me. There we go. Okay, so what have we got on there? We've got a character controller describing what kind of like slope they can climb up and things like that. So all of that you've already now got automatically to play with. We've got our script with walk speed 5, run speed 10, step length 0.7. Are we using like the head bob when we're moving, and sounds as well. So it already sounds kind of like Minecrafty when you're walking around. Okay, also it's got a camera, so we can now delete the main camera from our scene. Goodbye. Thank you for your service. We're now going to save everything. Do you do that? Do you like constantly save things? I'm like constantly save. Or Command S, that's better. Let's just play this and see, make sure that it's working. Yes, I'm pressing the space bar and I'm using WSAD and the mouse to move around. So lovely. So let's just have a dive off the end. I always find that really fun. I don't know. And then looking at it. Right, okay. Looking back at the world. Right. So what we're essentially doing is we're going to adapt this first-person controller, in particular the first-person controller script, not the rigid body controller, the first-person controller, so that we simulate Mew's movement as described by Jennifer. So what we want to do is go and copy the code from this first-person controller. We don't want to open up this and modulate this, because then we might break things, etc., etc. What we want to do is go and create our own script. In fact, let's do that first. So in my Mew tutorial folder, I'm going to right-click, go to new script, and then after this is created, let's call it Mew Fly. What was I saying? After this is created, then I can go and copy the code from Unity's script. So let's go and find that again. So in my assets, actually, I never use this little search bar. This is for professionals, the search bar. Let's try it. FPS counter controller. But I want the script. Let's go to characters. Yeah, there we go. So characters, first person character, scripts. So I'm in the standard assets, in characters, in first person character, and I want to get hold of, I want to open up first person controller. So I'm going to double click on that, and it will open up Visual Studio Code or whatever editor you're using. So this is the code that scripts for being able to jump, walk forward, the mouse look, even all the audio, all of that kind of stuff. And we're going to kind of learn a little bit about how all of this, well, not all of this, sorry, a very small part of this works, and then work with it. So first, select all of the code, copy that. I've done that with Command A, Command C to select all and copy all. And then I'm going to actually close that down. And then I'm going to go back to my tutorial folder, and I'm going to open up the empty Mew Fly script. There it is, Mew Fly. So now we're going to replace all of this with the code that we copied. So I'm going to select everything here and then paste everything over the top of that. So first, very important thing we want to do not save it at this point. We need to change the name of this script's class. So it's not the first person controller anymore. It is, as it says up here, Mew Fly. So exactly as it's written, you want to replace that. Now it's a great idea to save Mew Fly. And we haven't changed anything else. Let's just minimize the code editor, and let's just see if things are working. So I've selected our first person controller, our me. There we go. I can switch off that controller, and then I'm going to drag our Mew Fly over there. Oh, notice we're now going to have to populate the variables for these values, sorry, for these variables. So 5 for walking, 10 for running, 0.7 is a good step length, jump speed 10, stick to ground force, that will be important, 10, gravity multiplier 2, and then I'm going to leave these blank. Head bob, I don't want to use the head bob. Maybe we'll put the footstep excuse me, the footstep sounds in now, in case that creates any problem. Sorry, jump sound is that one, and land sound is that one Is that an array? Okay, so we can leave the array to 0, although maybe we'll just create one element in there and put a footstep sound in there. Okay. Obviously, if you want it to sound better, change that array sound to, you know what, I'll do it. Change it to 3, and then make sure you select 3 different footstep sounds, and then you get that like variety as it sounds in Minecraft. I've turned off my sound on the computer so it doesn't interrupt or interfere with anything. Right, so we've turned off the first person controller. In fact, let's be really brave now and remove that component. Save the project, save the scene, and let's just try and play. And hopefully we're in the position that we were before, but now with a code that we can adapt, and we're leaving the original alone. We don't have to worry about it. So I can jump, I can run, and I can do my favourite thing, jump off the edge. Brilliant. Right, now let's go and adapt this code. So here he is. Right. So first thing we want to do is be able to go into, say, different modes, different like states. So let's go to let's go down to the bottom. Where's the start? Where's the start function? There we go. There's start. So we can ignore all that stuff at the top. And we're going to leave a little comment here for ourselves, my variables, so we know what's new. And then we'll make these public so that we can see it in the inspector. So when we're testing, we can see like how much psychic energy we've got and things like that, and what state we're in. So first we need our fly state, and we'll say that's 0. So that means walking. And that needs to be an integer, sorry. Okay, let's just make a note. So 0 equals walking, 1 will equal levitate, and 2 will equal flying, fly. Okay, and then we need some psychic energy, call that psych charge, equals, we'll give ourselves 10 to begin with. Then, what else do we need at the moment? Maybe nothing. Let's go and see what happens. Right. So, in update, what's happening there? We're rotating the view, so that's working with the mouse. Then we've got jump and things like this. So, some of this we don't want to happen. And we'll deal with that later on when we're in levitation mode. We don't want to be able to jump. And here we've got a very important variable. m_move direction dot y. So the y component of this direction, so it's probably a vector 3. It's got 0 at the moment. And what is this saying? It's saying if we're not, so exclamation mark means not. If we're not grounded and we're not jumping and we were previously grounded, then we shouldn't be moving up or down. Okay. We don't necessarily need to know that, but it's useful. Now we've got another update loop, so the fixed update, so to do with physics and things. We get some input. We've got our desired movement direction, which is a vector 3. It's whichever way we're aiming. We've got some ray casting happening for how close we are to the floor. And if your character is grounded, so if we're touching the floor, then our move direction is minus stick to the ground force. If we're jumping, we are changing that y direction component to whatever jump speed it was. And I think we set that to 10. So we don't want that to be able to happen if we're flying. We don't want to be able to jump if we're flying. Yeah, we want to create. I was going to say, well, we could just leave it so it moves us up. It kind of like we jump in the air, but it might not work as you expect, because this is built on working kind of touching the ground and things like that. Okay, else, what have we got right at the end here? Move direction plus equals the gravity's force times the gravity multiplier times fixed delta time. So let's put all that onto a few different lines so I can see what's going on, so everyone can see what's going on, because I've got a huge font so that you can see. Okay, so fixed delta time is just so that it works smoothly on whatever computer you're using, according to like the relative to the frame rate. Gravity multiplier is set to 2 at the moment, and then physics gravity is will that actually be a, I think that's a vector 3, like for direction. Okay, so we don't want this to happen. We don't want to be, this is gravity working. So we don't want gravity to work when we're in a certain state. So we want to say if fly state equals is 0, then you can do that. Then we're happy for you to fall to the ground as usual. And let's save that. However, if fly state, I think I've switched off, sorry, a setting. I have to press space to autocomplete. If fly state equals 1, so this is levitating, then do something else. We want, yeah, let's say we're on the ground, we want to, and we're in levitation mode, we want to kind of drift upwards. So we want to do the opposite of this. This is moving us downwards, so we want to do the opposite. So we want move direction plus equals minus physics gravity. We want to go in the opposite direction. And we might not want this gravity multiplier. Let's just go for 1f. There we go. These are going to be floating point numbers, I imagine. Okay. Okie dokie. Fly state equals 1. Right. Let's now test this out. So the other thing we want to be able to do is we want to make sure that we can change into a different state. So let's just put this under here. Okay, this is bad. We should have a very different place and function for testing our input, but I'm just going to put it down here. Bad place for, let's call it a naughty place. A naughty place for input. Smiley. I'm putting it all together so we can kind of find the code that we've added to this existing code more easily. So we want to ask the question, if input, let's say get key up. So that means we're not holding down the key, but we've pressed it. Because if we're toggling a mode, we just want to press it and it changes. We could have a mouse click here, something like that. But if you just want to hold down a key to make something happen, you just have get key. But if you want to check for an actual press, so it's released, then use get key up. And then we want, what key? I've gone for shift, so I'll stick to that. Key code dot left shift. Don't know how to autocomplete anymore. Left shift, there we go. So if I'm pressing left shift, then we want to toggle through the different modes. So fly state plus equal, or plus plus. There we go. Now we want to check if fly state. Sorry, my autocomplete settings are wrong. If fly state is greater than 2, fly state it's assigned to 0 again. There we go. Also, we maybe want to ask if our psychic charge, can I click that? Yes, if psychic charge is less or equal to 0 and fly state is 2, so if we're in fly mode, then we want to say fly state is 1. So then we're going back to levitation mode. Okay, I'm doing a lot of programming here, aren't I, without actually checking things. But now I think we're at a place where we can check things, because I've got this input where I can press my left shift key and then go into levitation mode. And if I'm in levitation mode, i.e. if fly state is 1, let's just comment that, levitation mode. If fly state equals 1, then I should drift upwards forever, which is obviously something we want to change slightly. Okay, so back to our editor, file save. Just waiting for the editor to update the scripts there. Hopefully there aren't too many problems. And save and play. Okay, I can move around and it's playing. That's a big result already. We haven't introduced a mess of bugs. I'm also going to just open up the script there, and right at the bottom, because we added our public variables at the at the bottom of all that, near the start menu, they're at the bottom. If you want to change that, add them near the top somewhere. But we're in fly state 0, our psych charge is 10, and we can, back in the game, we can jump around. If I press left shift, I'm in fly state 1. Oh, what's happening? Am I actually flying upwards? I don't think I am. I'm now walking forwards. So I should be drifting upwards. I feel like I'm quite high. Maybe I'm not. No, I'm not. Not. If I jump, what happens? Oh! So now we're in levitation mode, yeah. If we jump, then we take off. Okay, so something is happening at least. We can toggle through the different states or different modes, and we've certainly affected gravity. Right. That jumping business. Let's go and deal with that. Oh, there we go. It's right here, so it's just above where we were modulating things. We've also got a lot of other stuff. Right, okay, let's just say if jumping and fly state is 0, then you can jump. Okay, the other mystery was, why didn't we drift up straight away? That's maybe because we've got some ground force happening. So up a little bit higher. In the update function, what we're going to do is we're going to encapsulate this with something. We're going to say if fly state is 0, then go and do all of this. So that's the end of that function. So we're going to put it just before the end of the function. Save that, and now let's just go and test it. What am I expecting to happen? So now we should be able to run around and jump as usual. I'm just thinking, I need to add some things into my scene. I should drag little Mew in there, shouldn't I? so that we can see our movement a bit better, because this is all just plain, isn't it? Okay, so I can jump around as usual. If I press shift, we can see we've gone into fly state 1 down there in the inspector. Can I still run around? Yep, I can still run around. Oh, I'm just pressing shift, so I've gone to 0 again. Go to fly state, oh, fly state 2, fly state 1. Okay, I'm in flight state 1. Oh, almost fell off. Can I jump? No. So I can't jump, which is good, but I'm not now flying upwards. I'm not like levitating, which is a problem. If I go to fly state 2, can't jump, which is perfect. Fly state 0, walking, I can jump again. So everything works. Okay, so that's one result. And as I said, let's just add some features into this horribly boring scene. Where is Mew model? Let's just add Mew into the scene. Mew's very small, by the way. Let's make the scale 42 by 42 by 42. There's Mew. And let's just duplicate Mew a few times. And then spread Mew around. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, yep. Okay. Maybe add a cube over there. Make it a bit bigger. Lovely. Okay, now our scene looks quite nice. Right, so I think I remember the fix I found. So I'm going to scroll back down to fixed update is where we're adapting things. We're saying if you're grounded, then do this. Oh, you know what? Right, if we're grounded, no, if we're not grounded, then make sure gravity's working. That's if we're in levitation mode. And actually, let's close off that else bit. So now this is levitation mode, whether or not we're grounded. Right, let's just save that. And now let's see if we're flying up, if we begin to fly straight away. Sorry, I keep scrolling in the wrong direction. Oh, and we've got to take away a bracket here. Yep. Save that. Okay, I took away that bracket because, of course, I added in the bracket here. So yeah, after the else, we just want to look at walk mode. This is gravity working just for walk mode. So we want that to finish there. We don't want it to finish where it usually did down here, because we've got a levitation mode in between. So we don't have to be grounded now. And what does grounded mean? What this script does is it fires, sorry, where's my hand? It fires a little ray at the bottom of our character, and it says, is that ray's distance long enough for us to be actually in the air? If we're in the air, if the distance is long enough, then we're not grounded. We must be jumping or falling or something, or flying in our case. If it's a small enough distance that we must be touching the floor, then it means we're grounded. And this script is using that so that you can only jump if you're grounded. We don't want to be able to jump like in the air. Okay, so our levitation mode, it doesn't matter whether we're grounded or we're not grounded, we should be levitating. So that's why I've escaped from the else scope there. Right, let's save that and go and test. So Unity editor is just updating the scripts. Oh, it's going to be nice to actually have some objects in the world this time. My little Mew friends. These guys aren't bobbing around because I haven't added this little script to them. Wow, it looks like this, like an Egyptian drug trip or something. Right. So we're in ordinary South America. We're in ordinary walk mode, or fly state is 0. So everything's working as it should. I can jump. Can I get on top of that cube? I can. Well, it's perfectly hidden though when I was on the top of it. Okay, so I can jump around, that's fine. I press left shift. I'm now in fly state 2. So my toggling is a little bit buggy. There we go. I'm back in 1. I can't jump, which is perfect. What's not perfect is I'm not drifting up yet. I should be drifting up. So let's escape and go back to a code. Maybe the fix is this. So if we're in levitation mode, then let's just say our move direction y component equals 0. So I'm just going to turn off any like legacy gravity. I'm just trying to tidy up my code, but now it looks awful. Let's just come back here, back here, back here. There we go. Right. Press play. We'll wait for Unity to update with the script. Oh, getting rid of my backache. Press play again. And I was imagining us to levitate up there, but we're in the wrong mode, aren't we? So let's press shift. Ooh. Now we're rising up. Oh, that is perfect. So all we had to do, so the problem was we had to remove any like legacy moving around. What happens if I go to fly mode 2? I don't know because it won't let me. There we go. My toggling is really bad. I've come up with a better toggle. So I'm in fly mode 2, and notice what's happening is we're not moving towards the ground because that only happens, normal gravity only happens in fly state 0, where ordinary walking is happening. But what's happened is that levitation kind of movement, that its gravity multiplier is just 1 and the gravity movement is upward, is kind of like left on. If we now press shift again, this toggle's really bad. There we go. And we go back to walk mode, then it turns on gravity in the ordinary way, and we can jump and everything's fine. Right. Lovely. I'm going to have a quick look at the input here. If key up, it's a left shift, fly state, we add once. If we add 1 to that. If the fly state is more than 2, fly state equals, oh, you know what, more or equals to 2. No, it's got to be more than 2. Fly state equals 0. If psych charge is less or equal to 0 and fly state equals 2, fly state equals 1. Okay, I'll leave that. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Let's continue with levitation mode. So, we do want to drift up if we're in levitation mode, if we're on the ground, but we don't want to continue levitating if we're beyond a few feet in the air, as per Jennifer's description. So if fly state is 1, and let's just get hold of our height. So we'll just say float height equals transform dot position dot y. So that will get hold of this transform, so our character's transform's position y, which is our height, and h will mean height. So just remind ourselves of that. H is height, smiley face. So if fly state is 1, if we're in levitation mode, and our height is less than, I don't know, 2f, because it's a floating number, 2f, then move us up slowly. So we want to copy this. I want to say, if our fly state is 1 and height is greater than, I don't know, 2.4, then we want to be floating down a little bit. And notice it won't just bring us up and then make us fall, it will kind of glide us up and down, because the gravity multiplier is the same as it is for moving upwards, so it's going to be the same rate. And notice, because we're in fly state 1, the ordinary gravity that works for walk mode won't be applied. So let's go and see if that is working as it should. So what should happen? If we toggle into levitation mode, mode 1, fly state 1, then from the ground we should just kind of like float up, and then float down now when we hit a certain threshold. So we can jump as normal. We're in fly state 0, press shift, nothing happens because my toggle is ridiculous. I've gone to fly state 2. Okay, fly state 1. I can't tell if I'm bobbing up and down. No, I can't tell if I'm bobbing up and down. Let's just scroll up to the transform. Okay, I'm 3.3 high, so clearly, I've done something wrong. I've put in the wrong number somewhere, the wrong piece of logic. Yep. If I'm greater than 2.4, nope, that's all fine. So this is a complete mystery why this is not working. If our height is less than 2, okay, let's just go up. If it's less than 5, then drift us up, and if it's greater than 6, then make us go down. Make sure I've saved that. And play. It's nice to have a few bugs. That's what I always have to say now. After I obviously get annoyed, I'm like, why isn't this working? Why can't I just make a nice tutorial for everyone? But actually, I then remember you'll probably hit the same bugs or the same kind of thing, and it helps with explanation. Oh, I know what I'm actually frustrated about is why my toggle doesn't work. I mean, I'm sure that's exactly the same method as I used in my previous one, and it worked fine. It might be, I don't know. I'll stop worrying about that. We'll just live with the toggle. Okay, it's now working. We're drifting up. And still drifting up. Oh, and now we're drifting down. And drifting up, and drifting up. Okay, so it's now working. And I didn't change anything other than how high we actually were. So I can only surmise that it's because our height is already at 3.78. And yeah, that's almost certainly the problem. And I was asking it to go up if our height was less than 2, which is never going to be. So was it 3.78, something like that? So we can say if I'm less than 4, then bob up, and if I'm greater than 4.4, make sure we move down. So let's leave that like that. So that's fine. So we need fly mode now. So we need to write this in the same place. If our fly state is 2, then what do we want to ask? Oh, we should be able to move forward in any direction that we want. Okay, there's 2 ways that we can do this. We can do it the way that I did it. So we could like hit a key like F or C, or maybe you could bind this to your mouse buttons, and then have your just translate the character up or down, or change. Sorry, you could use this gravity kind of thing. Or I'm just having a look. The desired move this is in the fixed update, is the forward position of the mouse, and I'm imagining they minus they subtract the Y component at some point. Yeah, that if you're grounded, the ground forces hitting you down, gravity, move direction. Move direction, and this line underneath our code is actually moving you. I can't see where we're subtracting our the Y component. Sorry, I'm being very slow. The Y component of the vector 3 direction for where we're moving. So we rotate the view, jump and stuff. Move direction equals 0. Move direction equals 0 on the Y. Okay, that's what I was looking for. So let's just highlight these. So what we could do, so I'm just inventing this, I'm just thinking this up as I'm going. This is not as I did it before. But wouldn't it be cool if we could just, now we're in this fly mode, if you're looking up and run forward or move forward, then you go up like that. That's kind of a more elegant way of doing it. I'm going to be really disappointed if this doesn't work. So what we could say is, if above these, only subtract Y movement, or the Y component of that directional vector, if you are not in fly mode. So if you're not in fly state 2, I'll copy that code, put you down here, and let's play. Let's see if that already works. I'm a little bit confident. So what I'm going to do, there's a bug straight away. Cannot be applied to operand of type int. Oh, can it not? Did not know that. If fly state is less than 2, if fly state, oh, can I do not equals 2? Does that work? Or less than 2? No, is greater than 1. That's really bad. These should say exactly the same thing. It doesn't equal 2. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want it to equal 2. Sorry. Is less than 2. Save. Okay. So I'm just creating, I almost created a really stupid bug there, or I still have, and I still haven't realized. Okay, so what should happen? Oh yes, we should be able to point in the whatever direction we want to when we're in fly mode and fly in that direction. And then I was going to be confident, but then my hubris was cut asunder because I made a stupid error. Well, no, not a stupid error. I just didn't know you couldn't use that operand on ints, but now I do know. There you go. So you can use it this way. So I can jump, so everything's fine there. So I haven't ruined, that's a crucial thing, we haven't ruined ordinary walk mode. Let's attempt to get into fly mode now, or levitation mode. Press shift, nothing happens. Press shift, okay, I'm in fly mode. I'm actually drifting upwards. And I'm looking up. If I look down, can I go down? No, it doesn't seem to be working yet. So it's not taking account of my of your X rotation. And we are drifting up. We shouldn't be drifting up if we're in fly mode. Let's go to levitation mode. So we're way higher than we should be. So it is indeed floating us down. And let's just scroll up a little bit to, yeah, so we're at like 8 units high. When we get down to 4, we should then bob up again, and that should be fine. We're developing. I can hear my chihuahua. My chihuahua's now underneath my seat, licking God knows what. There we go. What are we on? 4.0, and we're bobbing up to 4.3, 4.4. Yeah, that's really nice. What's not nice is that when we're in fly mode, I put us into fly mode. No, that feels like ordinary mode. No, we're in fly state 2. Okay, what I think happened actually was when we toggled to fly state 2, briefly we're in walk mode, and fly state has again inherited the kind of like gravity of walk mode. So if I look up, I was hoping that we'd be able to fly upwards. So maybe what's happening is that in fly mode we're still inheriting a little bit of gravity. So what we want to say, yeah, we want to actually say that there's no movement on the y-axis if we've just changed to fly state 0. So let's go find my horrible toggle system. There we go. Fly state equals fly state plus 1. If fly state is greater than 2, fly state now equals 0. If your psych charge is less or equal to 0, and fly state is 2, then fly state is now 1. You know what? We could put this out there, and I've just overwritten that bit I copied. Let's exit. Let's put that there. Now we can say if fly state is 2, then your move direction y component will equal 0. So there we go. We want to clean the gravity. Oh, that's a lot. What a concept. We're cleaning gravity. Will that work for this new advanced way of moving? Very excited to go and see. So if we get to fly state 2, it's definitely going to clean the gravity legacy kind of movement. So I've hit shift. We're still in walk mode. Press it again and again. Okay, now we're in levitation mode. We should just bob up and down. Perfect. Jumping, nothing happens. Perfect. Press shift. It goes to walk mode. Not perfect. It should have just gone to fly mode. Press shift again. Press shift again. Okay, now we're in fly state 2. Well, this is good. We haven't got any legacy movement. Okay, that's perfect. Have we got any? No. But if I look down and go forwards, then no, I just move laterally, not vertically, not staring up at the sun and not soaring into the air. So let's just give a little more time to this problem. So what I was hoping for, or elegant solution I should say, up here I was saying only take off this this component of the movement vector if you're not in fly mode, and I'll just put that there for readability. So if you're not in fly mode, then make sure you take that component off. So maybe it's been taken off somewhere else, not being added. Maybe I need to look at rotate view. So we've got mouse. Oh, this is just a start, I think. Rotate view. Playing the landing sound. Fixed update. Maybe there's something in here that I've missed. Well, here we go. Oh, of course. I'm excited. We've got the move direction vector 3 x and z components being created. I looked at these earlier, didn't I? But I didn't really absorb what they were. So we need the y component to be the desired move direction, which is just the direction you're pointing, times the speed. I'm really excited. Now we can. Now this will work. Surely this will work. What's very good actually is that we did remove those two lines that were, or we modified them so that the y component wouldn't be tampered with if we're jumping or grounded and other things like that if we're in state 2 fly mode. So I'm in ordinary walk mode. Oh, now we've ruined kind of walk mode. We're kind of adding the y component to it. Right, okay, what we first need to go and do, I got overexcited and just added this willy-nilly. We want to say if fly state is 2, then add that. Okay, so only add your pitch, isn't it? Pitch if in fly mode. Thanks. Full stop. Save that. Minimize. And let's have a save. And then I think about what we need to do next. next? The next logical thing was to make us float down if we're not touching anything in fly mode. So now we're in walk mode. Okay, and we repaired the damage there, so we can move around as normal. Attempt to get us into... Okay, we're in fly state. If I look up... Oh no! It doesn't work! Oh, that's really disappointing. Oh, why didn't that work? I'm definitely in flight state 2. Let's go to levitation mode. And let's actually go to fly state now. No, can't go up, can't go down. How disappointing. What if I try and get to fly state when I'm jumping? Oh, at least I'm really high. Can I get even higher? No. Damn. What's going on there? Did I definitely save the code? Yeah, because it started working. Oh, it's allowed me to save. Yeah, it will allow me to save anyway. Right. Desired move equals vector on a plane. Desired move hit info normal normalized. That must be mouse input. Transform right. Okay, I think this isn't built for the Y direction. Unless I've got something just silly that I've... Fly state equals 2 if you're in 2. Let's try that actually. We'll say... Oh, if you're grounded, then it stick to ground force. Let's say if fly state doesn't equal 2, then you can do that. Just see if that little change added things. I'm suspecting if this doesn't work, it's because I'm not understanding the kind of like vector or projection that they're using for building that vector. It might simply be on the X and Z axis, and then using, say, the normal of the ground that they're on, the surface that they're on, to kind of adjust it. Let's go and have a look. So, walking around, we can jump, everything's okay. Press shift. Oh, we're in levitation mode. So at least the toggle's working. Yep, brilliant. And now shift again, we're in walk mode. Shift, now we're in fly mode. And I'm pitching upwards, but not changing height. So no, that little change didn't work. So it's probably because we're not building our direction in the way I was anticipating. I wonder if I can just think on the top of my head could I change that here? If fly state 2, oh no, that's just collision flag. Move direction. Let's just see if I can say move direction y equals oh, it's probably our camera. Can I get hold of our cameras forward? Let's try and do that. Where am I? I've lost fixed update. There we go. Is it called camera? Oh, camera. Autocomplete, not working. Camera dot forward. Sorry, transform. Autocomplete. Oh my god. Transform forward dot y. Would I have to times that by speed? Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Let's see if that even allows us to build and test. Yeah. So this is the final go at creating this elegant solution for fly mode. So there's levitation. Now we're in the fly state. Interestingly, we kind of like sank to the ground there. Oh wow. Okay. Something's working now. We're going up. If I look down, we go down. If I look up, we go up. So I'm not actually pressing up or down. Which is kind of cool. But it's not exactly what I wanted. But the good news is I should be happier than I am, because it's now like kind of like working really well. It was this elegant solution working really well. The elegant solution is kind of working badly. So we've just got to ask if we're pressing forwards. So only have that happen if get key, no, input get key key code. Oh no, just W, isn't it? I can just put W in there. So if we're pressing forwards W, then move us up and down. Else, oh, this is maybe where we can incorporate like drifting down as Jenny described. So if we're not actually flying, actively flying, then we should be going down. Else, so we want exactly what we've got in fly state 1, levitation mode, if we're too high. So we want to do this. We want move direction first to cancel out, and then we want to say move us in the ordinary way that gravity works, but slowly. Save that, and then play. Right, if this works, I'm trying to capitalize on time, but it never works. But if this works, then we've just got the psychic charge to look at. In terms of being able to like fly around in fly mode, that's quite easy. We just say, if you're in fly mode and you've got psychic charge, then you can move up and down. If you haven't, then oh, we've already taken care of that. We've said if you're in fly mode, if you're in fly mode and you haven't got any charge, then automatically change you to levitation mode. So we've already done that. So it's working. Sorry, I was talking over my testing. So I'm in fly state 2, and I'm slowly like drifting towards the ground, and I'm now on the ground, I imagine. So I can't go through the ground. If I look up, I can fly up. And I press forward, and look, it slowly drifts me down when I'm not pressing anything. So I'm quite excited. Hopefully, Jennifer, this is very close now to what you wanted. I'll try and put a link to this code on the description. There we go. But I'd highly recommend, obviously, coding it yourself. So you've kind of made use of this style of tutorial where we're not doing things from scratch, but trying to understand someone else's code, which is always quite interesting. It's not massive fun when you're doing it live. Because you might get lost and nothing works, but I'm really pleased with this result. This is much better than the version I prepared. I love now I can just kind of like slowly drift downwards. Right, so we want the psychic energy to deplete. So let me just quickly show you how to do that. So let's do it where we're putting everything else very untidily. So this is our naughty space. This is also naughty place for depleting our psychic energy. Okay, so we want to say if the time right now, so if I put time dot time, that will give us the time in seconds since the program started. So if the difference between the time now and the last time we checked, so we'll just call that timestamp, is greater than the duration that we want, we'll call it, I don't know, 1 second. Greater than 1 second, then psych charge minus equals 1. Okay, so that's how we deplete our psych charge. Now we've just got to go and do a timestamp. We've got to make that. So if we've taken off some psych charge, then we don't want to do that every single update loop. We only want to do it when there's been at least 1 second between, from the last time that we did it. So actually we'll put it up to 3 seconds. So it'll be psych charge will go down, and 1, 2, 3, it'll go down some more, 1, 2, down some more, like that. And you can adjust these numbers, obviously. So we need to just go and make that variable. And we need to say, once we've taken, a piece of charge, we then want to make a new timestamp. So we want to say timestamp equals now. Time. Oh. I'm not having a good time with auto-completion. So is the present number of seconds. Okay, so we need to set this at the start. There we go. So we can say, it just needs to be private, private float time stamp. Time stamp. And we can say equals 0. Right, let's go and see if that now works. Oh, we want to say if fly state is 2, fly state equals 0. No, if fly state is greater than 2. If psych charge is less or equal and fly state is 2, then fly state is 1. So we've already done that in terms of handling our psych charge running out. What else do we want to do? We wanted to correct our spelling. We wanted to, just say if psych charge is less than 0, psych charge equals 0. We don't want to go into minus numbers. Maybe you do. I just wanted to say if fly state equals 2, yeah, we want to say if we're pressing forwards and psych charge is greater than 0, then we can do this elegant thing where we'll fly towards the direction we're looking. Else, then it just slowly drifts us to the ground. So that should be everything. You know what? We should just increase our charge. So every 3 seconds, if fly mode. Did you just hear my chihuahua make a little moan? I'm sorry, I'm almost finished the tutorial now. If fly state equals 2, then we want to deplete charge. Else, if fly state equals 0, we'll say. If fly state equals 0, then psych charge plus equals 1. There we go. Psych charge. Wasn't psych charge an integer? So I better just make those integers. Okay. I was just thinking, yeah, if you wanted your psych charge to go up not by 1 but by 0.5, then you'd have to make them all floats. And then if you wanted to display it to the screen or something as rounded up numbers, then you have to do a little bit of extra code, but not much. Okay, so I think we've got everything in place now, and this should be a joyous finale to our wonderful tutorial. Thanks again to Jennifer Robey, or Robbie, for the suggestion. It's a really good idea. And it got me back into making videos for Unity, which I haven't done for ages now. Okay, so we've, again, not ruined ordinary state. Our psych charge is going up. Every 3 seconds, you can see underneath fly state. Let's press shift. Now we're in levitation mode. Our psych charge is now not charging, but it's not depleting either. Now we go into fly state 2. Toggle's working really well. We're now drifting down because we're not actually pressing anything. If I press W, then I can fly around. I don't press W, and I'm drifting down. And my psych charge should be going down. Oh, it is. Every 3 seconds, it's depleting a little bit. And what we could do is say, this is just going to drift us all the way to the floor. What might be better is if you get under a certain height, so you can check that, you could say, if you're in flight state 2 and your height is less than 4.4, then change it as it's done now to fly state 1, and then you would just be drifting up and down. So we only went to fly state 1 levitation mode just then because my psych charge went to 0, and it's holding at 0, it's not going to minus numbers, so that's working perfectly. If I wanted to charge myself up again, I need to go to, I need to really work on the toggle. I now can't get to, oh, I can't, because of my logic, I can't, or lack of logic, I can't get to fly state 2 because it puts me down to fly state 1 if I've got no charge. Okay, so I'll leave it on that terrible ending. But we've gestured towards what you wanted, Jennifer, and anyone else who's watching. There we go. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Put in the comments any questions or problems you have, and I'll try to reply to you as soon as I can. Thank you very much, and goodbye.